Well, hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Haven't done this for a couple of weeks. We're getting ready to go at the top of the hour. Let me get the final touches set up here. Where's the cord? Where's the cord? Where's the cord? Here's the cord. Hey, everybody, hang on. Let me set everything up so we can get the calls. Grooving to the beat. What? Jessica Page. Oh. Try tonight. No power, I know that. Let's get Skype running. Got that set up. That's set up. Okay. I can just untangle all my cords. Wow, we got a big crew in here. Hey. Let's talk Disney. Whoa, I almost just spilled the soda in my lap. Let's get some names up here. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Rhonda Lee. Hope you're doing well. Marlessa. PR on the 10K yesterday. Nicely done. Derek, what's going on? Everything's jumping here. Jennifer down in O'Fallon. I have not signed the petition for Big Ten. I guess I should, but all I know is SEC. SEC. We're playing so far. Hey, it's Tanya down in Tennessee. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Ashley. Deanna. Hello. Scotty G still looking for his golf ball that landed in a tree today. Go on Twitter, look up Scott, and check out the lie he had. It was crazy. Eric's here. Yep, last show about the trip is tomorrow. It's with Mallory. Oh, yeah. Kathy just moved her daughter back to Marquette. They're always good at basketball. I know it's probably doesn't matter. She's in law school, but they've upset Mizzou before. What's up, Wade? 23 half marathons on Saturdays. Killing it. Celinda's here. Oh, we will say a prayer for you, Margie. Hope you feel better soon. I'll lift you up tonight when we go to bed. Absolutely. I know I got out of education in the right time, but I got into travel. Not exactly the right time there, huh? But it's fine. We'll make it. Hello to Kyle out in Washington State. Snanahamush. Snohamush. Snohamush. I used to live in a town called Fluorescent. Nobody could pronounce that either. Fluorescent is what people used to say. No, we didn't glow. Hey, Corinne, what's going on? Vero Mikes over on the YouTube. I just scarfed down Taco Bell and I got a nacho stuck in my throat. So now I'm dying. It scratched my throat going down. I was trying to eat too fast. That's what I get. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Eric. Yep, my wife started school on Friday virtually. They're learning a new program called Canvas to use with their students virtually this year because they're virtual at least till October. I'm in. Sign me up. And Scott, I was already working on Pam yesterday, so I'm trying. Thank you, Eric. Hey, Amy and Mrs. in St. Louis. Snohomish. See, I got it. Oh, Kyle, I think I was talking. Maybe. Let me look. Oh, well, I don't have it open yet. I don't think I might have been talking Kyle. No, that's not the same Kyle. Different Kyles. What is that buzzing? I don't have the old mic hooked up, do I? I got channel 3 up. That's what it is. Got to find that. Scratch my throat. Hey, Michael over in the UK. Good evening. We did an hour earlier. See, that helps you, right? What is that buzzing coming from? That's driving me nuts. It's not that. Oh, well, let's do it. I think it's my cord. Hey, that's the best kind. I loved my class in Rose. I was old school. Oh my gosh, what's that little buzz? That's going to drive me nuts. Nuts. Okay, let's do this. Got the phone set up. Where is that coming from? There's something that's plugged in around here. It's different. What did I change? I don't think it's the Pac-Man machine. Here we go. Happy Sunday night, everybody. Welcome to yet another Be Our Guest Podcast community check-in show. We call it the live call-in show here on the Be Our Guest Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of those senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. We make magic for folks heading down to the Disney destinations each and every day. Big shout out to my clients. I haven't done that for quite a while. I appreciate you guys booking with us. Especially during these difficult times, those folks that are taking the chance and traveling, it's a great time to travel. I hope you kind of got that message on Wednesday and on Friday. One more show coming your way tomorrow on the feed on Monday. It's the show that Mallory and I recorded in the room each night as we recap the adventures of the day, kind of in real time. That way we could talk about like what we did that day, how we thought about things while it was still fresh in our minds. So it's a little bit longer tomorrow. It's over an hour long for a Monday show. Sorry about that. But we had lots of thoughts and we want to get that out there for everybody. So hope you enjoy tomorrow's show. Tonight we are live. We're going to talk about the news of the week here on the podcast, as we do here on Sunday nights. We'll take your calls at 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. We got a lot to talk about. What do you think about the new acrylic? It's going to go with a fountain that, I don't know, is it a statue? Is it a monolith? What is it right there at the base of Spaceship Earth as you enter Epcot? I think it's pretty sweet looking. It's very retro, and I'm kind of a retro dude. I like it. I'm excited to see it. Of course, it went in right after I left, so I did not get to see that myself with my own eyes. Another thing we could talk about is moving forward into September, Walt Disney World. This was announced while we were down at Walt Disney World last week, is that the park hours are going to be cut in the fall by a couple hours in some parks. So if you're going down, what does that mean to you? I mean, obviously it means less park time, more resort time, but is that always a negative thing? You know, I was down there when it was really weird having a theme park that I wanted to go to open at 11 o'clock. When we went to Epcot on last Saturday, Epcot opening at 11 o'clock was so weird because I'm used to it opening at 9 o'clock. You got to get up at like 7:30, get going. We got to go to a resort and have breakfast at Olivia's and still be at Epcot for Rope Drop. It was crazy. So what do you think about all this? How's that going to affect you moving forward? Give us a call. We could talk about anything else you want to talk about and just discuss everything that's going on in the Disney universe at 407-413-9395. Also, I know a lot of folks that are here in the live chat have been to Walt Disney World over the past, say, couple weeks, 3 weeks. If you want to call in and give your thoughts, maybe we could compare and contrast, what your trip was like compared to what my trip was like. I've talked about mine, but what about yours? Give us a call and let us know there. I will say, as we wait for the calls to come in, that the one thing that Scott really we talked about, and it's going to affect your trip, is that the park hours heavy in the parks during the heat of the day. So we'll talk about how that affected us here in just a second. Let's get to our first call tonight. It's Alfred. Alfred, what's going on, buddy?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I had a nice few days away.
Where'd you go?
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Ooh, I've never been there, but it looks cool on TV.
Yeah. So I got a day at the beach, a day at the pool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So it's kind of like baby steps getting you ready to go down to Disney eventually.
Exactly.
Good.
So, and the way I saw them handling the hotel, it did make me feel more comfortable with the idea.
Here's the thing about Disney was we got into the room at Pop Century on that Wednesday, and it was so clean, so, sterilized. We never had a housekeeper ever come in just because I was always taking naps. But the thing is that, when we get back to the room after a full day of going, swimming and going to the parks and going out to eat, I'm so tired. I just crash on the bed. I don't even think about things. So I didn't think about it a whole lot after the first day.
Yeah, exactly. So, and same thing like at the hotel where I was, they had the remote control and the plastic bag, and so you knew they kept it clean.
Yep, that's reassurance. They even put it over like the soaps in the shower. It had like a little plastic cover. It said, clean or something. I can't remember. It had like a sticker on it. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was good. So it really helped me try to put that in my mind, that things are being done to protect. So I like it.
Yep.
And I'm considering maybe September.
September looks like a good time. Now, let me ask you though, because obviously you've seen the park hours are pretty short, and Universal actually is closing 2 of their hotels. Now they don't have as many as Walt Disney World. They're closing Sapphire Falls and Aventura. So this is hitting everybody. Obviously the demand is not where they want it to be. So how does that affect your planning? What are you thinking about all that?
Well, I think the idea of the parks closing early, if you go back 20 years ago, this is how they were.
Yep, that's true.
Epcot always opened at 11, and sometimes you would get Future World at 9. But only Future World. World Showcase was always 11.
Yep.
Magic Kingdom, there were times where they would close at 7 at that point, just because those were the hours.
Yep.
Not because they had a party or anything like that. So I really feel that they're just going back 20 years so that they can cater to the guests the best that they know how.
Here's my question for you though. Say, because they are stepping back the park hours, and this would be a very difficult and a very dangerous precedent for Disney to go down. But if their park is only open, say, consider like the longest hours they had over the past couple of years in the summer, like maybe a 14-hour day. Okay. Maybe they're open like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something, whatever, let's just take some numbers.
Right.
Now it's open, say 8 hours. Should Disney consider lowering the 1-day ticket? Because I think they can't because of I wish they would, but I mean, think about, then you got the APs that are saying, well, we're not getting our fair shake because 1-day tickets are now cheaper. But I mean, it's almost like, I wish that with the demand down, I know they're going to offer different incentives, but it's like almost, if you're only getting 8 hours instead of the 14, maybe you should take 10, 15, 20% off the price.
I think if it stays at a low demand, I think the prices will roll back for everything.
It's tough.
APs, daily, everything. Because they can't keep charging at that rate. And I think this might be a good thing if they roll back the prices a bit. So I do feel that that will happen if it stays low capacity.
It's a real slippery slope because you don't want to go back because you're
Mhm.
saying that now the value is decreased and it's like it's a diminished product in a way if you're charging less. But also the thing
Yeah.
is, and we learned this last week, and I had to see it for
Mhm.
myself, and I believe it now, is that when we went to a park, we could get
Mhm.
everything done that would normally take us
Right.
14 hours. We could get it knocked out in 6.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But I
Right.
mean, I think people are starting to show up, but I don't know. Once school starts, I think it'll drop off again. I think the last week or two has been a little bit busier.
Mhm. Has it?
A little bit.
It didn't seem like it to me because I do watch videos and it seemed quiet still.
Oh, it's definitely quiet, but I think what was the weekend too? Our last Saturday and Sunday, like Epcot, we were there a week ago yesterday, and it was not crazy crowded, but you could feel a little bit more crowds. It didn't feel uncomfortable, but it felt more like a regular park day. Then that Sunday, it wasn't that busy though at the Magic Kingdom. So you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
but locals come. Epcot's the locals park. I think it was mostly locals.
Yeah. So maybe what they'll do is Saturday will always be the higher price day.
Could be.
Yeah.
That's probably the day not to go
But
to
all you
Epcot
have
too.
to do, like with APs, just cut the price 10% and people will be happy.
That or
They're
when you
still making a good amount of money.
or they could
You
do, like a renewal, you get 15 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause
Yeah.
that's not costing them anything, but it's giving you 25% more value out of your pass.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they could do that. It's hard, because you have to think. When I started getting my passes at Disney World, I think I was paying like $500.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, but
So it's
I remember
double
6.
that now.
Yeah, it is.
So if they just drop it 10% from what is it, 1,000? It's only $100. It's not going to break their bank,
It's not going to break their bank, but there's so many AP holders. I mean, it would definitely have a dent while the revenues are low. But you're right. I mean, there has to be. Plus, I mean, we're in that situation where what is the cap? I mean,
right?
Are they riding close to the cap right now, even with that few people in the parks? I don't know because they won't give numbers, so who knows? But it's a pleasant experience right now, though.
Yeah, yeah, and then with those with that fountain statue out front, I have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I never got to see the original.
Me neither.
In Epcot. So they're kind of bringing us back to that opening day of Epcot.
Yeah, it's definitely a throwback.
And I love it.
Yeah, and
I love it.
Think about it. We're getting Wonders of Life back. Now we're not getting Wonders of Life, but we got the building. I mean, they're working on the roof and everything. I saw them bioreconstruct today. So, I mean, at least it's not going to be something that's demolished. It's going to be repurposed, which I'm all about that because, I never got to really. I went in Wonders of Life a couple times, like one of my first couple of trips, but. At that point, there wasn't much. I did Body Wars, and it about killed me. I mean, dude, I can't do simulators, and Body Wars was the worst simulator. It was just gross. You're going through like somebody's veins. That's even gross. Like on top of it. Oh, but yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, so I'm glad.
You should like that with science in you.
No, dude, shoot. This time, you know what? And I don't know if I mentioned this on the shows. Smuggler's Run messed me up for like 48 hours. This time, I had the worst migraine after doing that. Ugh. Got me.
Yeah, that's surprising though.
I was the pilot
because I didn't feel that was that rough, on the body.
No, well, I had no issues the 2 times I did it when I was the engineer. This time I was the pilot, and it killed me. Killed me being the pilot.
And I've only been the pilot.
I can't do it. I can't do it again.
And I was fine.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was all the money I spent on Disneyland's 65th anniversary merchandise.
What'd you get?
Well, just about everything. They were sold out of one pin, so I couldn't get that. but the T-shirts are so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's using the phrase "to all who come to this happy place, welcome."
I like that. I like that
That's
a lot.
on one of the shirts with Mickey.
Nice.
Yeah, the pass holder T-shirt. One of them has Walt on it, which I'm like, this is so cool. I don't even know if I want to wear it.
Put it in a shadow box.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I'm like, you don't get this kind of stuff. You know, they should be honoring Walt so much more, and they don't.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
this
think
shirt is amazing.
we all agree that everybody listening today, we look, I
Mhm.
think, most of us look at Walt and say, it's not Disney World, it's Walt Disney World. And I think we as a group
Yeah.
all, we kind of rally around that. When people go, I'm going to Disney
Yeah.
World. I get what they're saying, but I always respond
Mhm.
like, man, I love Walt Disney World. Not to be
Yeah.
mean, but I always throw Walt in there because I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and they had the Wishable.
Yes.
Of course, I had to get that. It was a limited release of the Abominable Snowman from the Matterhorn.
Nice. The original
Yeah, it was
Yeti.
very cool. Yep, the original.
The original. The West Coast Yeti.
Yep. Yep. So everything I got, I loved.
That's
It
awesome.
was so worth it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's what, if you're buying merchandise, it should make you happy. And I'm glad it did.
Yeah, and it did. And I love the design that they chose. It focused on Mickey,
Yes.
which was great.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, it all started with a mouse, I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm looking forward to maybe doing a few days, at Disney World in September. Actually do the Food and Wine Festival for the very first time. So
we're going to run here, but I'm going to tell you though, just don't do it on a day where the heat index is 112 and then go back to Morocco and get the spiciest thing ever. Scott talked me into Scott was like, you got to get this thing. It's a pita. It tastes like different things. And it was awesome. He was exactly right.
Yeah.
Except we both ate it and we looked at each other's eyes because the only thing you can see is each other's eyes with masks on. So our eyes are like bloodshot. There's sweat coming out of the top of our nose. It was so spicy, but it was so good. But it's like, don't eat that when the heat index is 112 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I can't do spicy like that.
Man.
So
yeah, don't do it.
I'm not getting
That's a good December snack. Yeah, so hang in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll, Alfred, and talk to you next Sunday night. Stay safe, buddy.
Sounds good.
Talk to you
too.
soon. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
We got Jay here in the chat too, which I think is awesome, saying he knows a little bit about piloting. I wish he could have been on the Falcon with me and give me a critique because we were all over the place. We were bad. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
That thing's hard to drive.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, it's Eric, and I can tell by her voice. Yeah, that thing left, right. My daughter was the I called her the Chewy seat. She was on my right as a pilot.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
It's not responsive. It's a hunk of junk, really. I don't see how that thing can fly as fast as they say it does.
What a piece of junk.
Yeah. You were talking about prices. So I did, I'm a school librarian, so I did the librarian thing, and I went in, I just quickly looked at September, if you did a 7-day ticket. And most of the days in September now are $67 to $68. There's almost nothing at the upper level. And I think they're not going to say we're no longer charging $109. That's still going to be the max. But what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot less of those $109 days.
That's a good point.
They're going to have
flex schedule. Yeah, that makes a good point because that's a great out for them. I didn't think about that because they can always rework, like, and say June 16th is now not, the most expensive day. We'll just knock that down 2 levels, or whatever they have to do. That's a great point. That's a way to play with the prices without playing with the prices. You're playing with the calendar.
Right. You'll see Christmas and New Year still up at that price, but maybe July 4th. But the week after July 4th is going to slip down to $100. And that's not a big discount, but they aren't going to cut their prices. They aren't going to raise them. They're just going to keep everything the same, like they do with the hotel rooms.
Yep.
The hotel room prices bounce around, and you're going to see maybe the hotel rooms don't go up, and that window of time for the cheaper rates is going to increase. that's my trick when I go down. I look for the cheaper rates. Sometime, often around the end of August, you get some really good rates down there because a lot of places have gone back to school and they're beginning to hit the fall rates in Florida. But the parks are still open, or they were still open, and they will be again. They're still open really late.
Yeah,
But just play with the calendar.
The thing is, we had an awesome time, and I think I've tried to convey that. I got home, I felt everybody's been asking me ever since I've been home because people knew. I mean, I didn't hide the fact I was going down. I mean, I wasn't ashamed of it, and what was it like? Because the thing is, I work in travel, so obviously I'm in it every day, all day, like reading articles and looking about what are cruise lines doing. I listen to radio talk shows out of Jamaica, out of the Bahamas, the Caribbean, all these destinations that my guests tend to go. I kind of try to stay plugged into what's going on in those markets and in those industries. But the thing is, when I went down, I felt totally safe. I didn't really worry about it. The mask thing was kind of weird because I don't go out a whole lot. It's weird. I don't leave the house here. I was out of the house for 5 full days, like, having a good time. It was great. But it's just one of those things that, you mentioned how Disney's trying to entice people to come down. And I think, to me, it's still, and I said this a few months ago, it starts with flying because most guests are not going to drive. The folks in Georgia, the Carolinas, maybe Alabama, Mississippi, stuff like that, Florida locals, they're going to drive down. I have some guests that are driving from great distances up your way, like Connecticut. I have some folks in Massachusetts.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's an investment. Like, you don't just say I'm going to drive. Like, you have to start mentally preparing yourself months in advance because it's a big task. But the thing is that I think once we get through the flying thing, that things will turn around. And I think plus once we get to where the news isn't so negative, like on a constant level. And I know the news is just reporting what it is, with the numbers and stuff. But, if we get past the peak and things start to move in the right direction, the thing was this is what I told myself and I told my wife. I said, if flying was some perilous, daredevil endeavor, you would be hearing about it on the news. Like these people flew and, the 28 people got sick on that flight, and I haven't heard that. And I felt safe.
I took a peek at a little engineering about a plane, and they do a lot of air exchange on a plane.
Yeah,
I think it was every seven rows has its own vent. And they cycle the entire cabin something like 20 times an hour, 27 times an hour.
Well, I read, every 2 to 3 minutes is what I saw on Southwest website. Yep.
Yeah, that's like more than you get in like the best office building in the country. It's incredible because they know that you're going to have people up in a small enclosed space. And even before this happened, they didn't want everyone getting off their flight sneezing and coughing and sick. Or else, that would get around. So they put in all of this air exchange. And it's a really good thing to do. The person who coughs in the back of the plane, it never reaches you.
I hope. Because there was one guy that coughed on our flight home, and you should have seen just one little cough. And I mean, it was after they passed out the snacks. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he got like it was like a mix mash of it wasn't peanuts, but it was like Cheez-Its and pretzels all mixed together. And it was dark. I couldn't even tell what I was eating. But I think he probably got it caught in his throat because he's like, oh, because you could hear him. He was like, and he tried to fight it.
Allergies.
My gosh. It was like, you would have thought that guy was getting thrown out the window. I felt bad for him because he probably just got the little piece
Here's
of
your
Jesus.
parachute.
Exactly.
Nice to fly. I think
oh my gosh.
Over a body of water, so you won't have too rough a landing.
Oh yeah. Seriously, like, oh my gosh, please don't cough. Like, you're going to be like, that's freaked everybody out. And I felt for the guy because it's probably a Cheez-It.
Well, I'm a guy who sneezes a lot. I'm a guy who coughs a lot. It's just like my allergies. I have a big nose. Everything goes up it. And I'm worried when I get back into the school, I'm going to have the mask on, but I'm just going to be doing my regular 2 hours in the morning that I do when I'm, clearing stuff out of my throat. And people are going to look at me like, should you be here? Should you really be here?
I know. I've had to stifle so many sneezes because I'm scared to death to sneeze.
Look, sneezing in a mask is unpleasant.
Well, I haven't done that yet.
It's unpleasant. You don't want to do that. I mean, sometimes you have to, but oh man, it's just awful. All right, I'm going to let you go, or you're going to let me go. However that goes on the show, I don't know.
We'll let each other go. It'll be a mutual breakup.
Don't have too many of those. Okay.
See you, Eric. You have a
Take
good
care.
start to your school year, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye. And I'm not having a good start to my school year because I'm not going back to school this year. But, I wish all of our teachers the best. I know school's going to be different and rough this year, but hang in there and put on some pants. You can't. I know you're going to be teaching from your kitchen table, but, it's good. Guys, put on a tie for the first day of school. Now, you could still wear shorts and flip-flops, but put on the tie. Look good on that first day for your students. Then after that, you can wear jeans. That's what I would have done. Anyway, 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. Got the next caller on the line. Who's joining us?
Hey, Mike, it's Marlessa. Happy Sunday.
Hey, happy Sunday to you. What's going on?
Finally a little cooler up here, New York. We had some rain, so I was a little thrown off. We went outside for errands and shorts. It was like, wait a minute, maybe we need pants first time.
We're not there yet. I mean, it was this morning when I ran, it was 68 and it was gorgeous. Now we're not to wearing pants yet. I mean, it's still warm, but it's not 95. So God bless the cold front that came through yesterday. So we're good.
Yeah, I got lucky yesterday where it was still in the 70s when I did my 10K, but the humidity was in the 50s, so that was perfect. The low humidity was perfect, but still haven't had a run in the 60s yet. So hoping for that.
The day
in the coming weeks.
I don't know if you saw that, but the day I went to Walt Disney World last week on that Wednesday, because I got up super early. We had what time was our flight, Mallory? 8:50 or something. It was 8:50 or something. So I got up and ran at 4:00 in the morning. And when I got up that morning, it was 55 degrees. I was like, hallelujah. But of course, then I left St. Louis when the weather was great
So
and had to go down into the furnace of Florida. But it's supposed to be cooler again this week. So I'm excited. So what do you think about all this news? Everything's happening. Park hours, the new statues at Epcot. What's going on? What do you think?
The park hours are interesting to me, I think, because you and I are similar where, we like to wake up early and go to bed early.
Yep.
So I kind of resonated with what I think you said on one of the shows of how we're still, you can still do the rope drop, but it's also not as stressful. I think I don't know how you feel, but even as someone who prefers to be a morning person, it can still be, stressful if you have to get to a park at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. because maybe someone in your party is not as much of a morning person. And especially if you're going to Hollywood Studios nowadays, you do need everyone there.
Yes.
But now, if the park's opening at 10 or 11, you can, everyone can kind of be on the same page a little easier. People that might want to sleep in a little more. You can have a relaxed breakfast because something that I'm determined to not mess up on my next trip, but the last few trips, something about mornings at Magic Kingdom recently, it's just, I haven't been since early March, right before COVID, but we always forget to grab some food right before Magic Kingdom. And then we get there and we're oh no, we'll be fine. We can go a few hours without eating, but then it's 10, it's 11.
Yeah.
The line
you
for
have to eat.
Hollow is super long.
Yeah.
And then nothing else.
Yeah, that's why we had
then,
we ended up getting a donut at the Joffrey's cart and just ate it in line for Space Mountain super fast because the line wasn't that long. But it was the same thing. I mean, we had limited time and we didn't want to wait. We wanted Sleepy Hollow, both of us, but I was that line, we're not doing that. We got things to do.
Oh yeah, because that I think I don't think it would have it now, but even last when I was there, so they don't do mobile order for Sleepy Hollow, right?
I don't think they did.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, there were a couple places even the Cantina in Mexico. You had to just go out and order. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to kind of ask you because I know there are certain points where Morning's Magic Kingdom is an example where it can be kind of hard to get something to eat, but now I think Gaston's is still closed. So did you feel that there were points where you really wanted a snack or just a quick service, but maybe there did you noticeably feel okay, there's less stuff here, there's no Casey's, it's harder to find something?
Well, see, I was traveling with my boy Scotty G, and this guy, he takes care of all the dining, so he had us hooked up. Now I will say, he also says there's no mobile order at Sleepy Hollow. So that's what I thought. That's why the line was so long. But the thing was, we got there. So we got to the Magic Kingdom on a Wednesday afternoon about 3:00, and we got everything done by 7. And at 6:45, we had the Liberty Tree Tavern, ADR. And I knew that was going to be something I was going to tear up. So I didn't even want a snack. But I did miss, like, I didn't get the opportunity to have my All-American Sunday. You know, I like to get corn dog nuggets and just walk around the park and snack on those. Didn't get those. But again, like I had one of the donuts at Joffrey's Cart, a pink donut, never had it. Those things are like crack. I'm so glad we don't have those in St. Louis because
I've been dying to try one.
Oh
I'm not
my
even
God.
a donut person.
I've
I'm
always
like,
thought they looked incredible, and they are even better tasting than they look. Oh my! If I had those here, I'd be 900 pounds. They were that, because they're like thick. They're so sweet and they're so thick. But anyway, like it's one of those things that we did try different things. Epcot Day, yeah, there were things that weren't open, but we did the food and wine booths and stuff like that. Studios, what did we do over there? Because I was going to get a Ronto wrap, but we got, like Santulli Canteen was open the day we went to Animal Kingdom, so we ate there. Oh, we had Backlot Express, which Mallory wanted, so that was fine. So the thing is, like, the core dining options are there. It's more the ancillary things, like you said, like a Gaston's Tavern, like a Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, which I understand they got to cut somewhere, and that's a good place because it's not like, you got Pecos Bills open, you got Cosmic Rays. I still think it's curious that the Columbia Harbor House isn't open, but you talk social distancing. Have you ever been in there, like the order places, like in the, it's just like people on top of each other at those cash registers in that little tight area where you get your food. So maybe that's why.
Even with, like, I love that place, but even with mobile order, it can get kind of tight in there. And then I just like run upstairs and find a table in the corner. And just
same.
like
but it is
hold down the floor.
Yeah, but it has a lot of bottleneck areas in there too. But it's I love that place. I did miss it. You're right. And somebody said that earlier in the chat. I'm trying to find it real quick. Is that they just went down, but they said that it was I can't find it. But it was, it was one of those things they loved everything, but they did have trouble finding places to eat, which I wouldn't say had trouble finding places to eat. I think that a lot of us just have our regular places we go to, and some of those are closed. So you just got to try something new.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm just missing Sleepy Hollow and all
It's
those
open.
places at Magic Kingdom.
Get there early.
But, something else I was thinking about the hours that I'm kind of wondering, like, because I think, like, obviously, like, Disney is, keeping track of, like, how the social distancing is going in the parks. And, like, I know we don't all know, like, the exact numbers of, like, how many people they're letting in the park. Other than that, it's, they're reducing capacity. So I'm kind of curious, like, if and when, like, they start to maybe, like, start allowing more people in, like, if things go well and, like, hopefully just things in the country, get better. I would kind of be interested if, like, maybe they try to potentially vary the hours a bit more, because the one thing that I'm thinking of is that if, like, they let, I don't know, X amount of more people into the parks, then like most of the parks are opening like 10 or 11 and then they're closing early. That's kind of, it might be a little difficult, like, once there are more people, because I feel like when you have parks on days that open super early, that kind of knocks out a chunk of people, like the people that don't want to wake up early, right? And then if you have parks that close late, that kind of chops off, like, some people that, they, like us, like you and me, that we want to get to bed and we want to wake up early the next day. So I don't know, like, that, I don't know if they've ever done that, but just kind of maybe, like, I don't know exactly how they could, work that, but if they kind of varied the park hours a bit more, like maybe they had a day or two where, okay, these parks open a little earlier, like they can still reduce the hours if they need to do that. Like if they need to not like I'm, I'm not saying go back to, I don't know, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., but, maybe open at 8 a.m., close early, and then another day they open later for the people that love Epcot in the evenings. So I don't know. And then it would kind of maybe not have as many people like all there in the afternoon at the same time.
Here's the thing. Selfishly, I think that they should not have like a set schedule, and they might change this up, but so far they've had, like Studios opens at 10, Epcot opens at 11. Again, it's going to change here in a month, but Animal Kingdom was open at 8 and Magic Kingdom was opening at 9. And then the graduated closing times, associated with that. But the thing is with the Studios, with it opening at 10, that's a later opening park. So that gives more people the incentive to go there because you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn. Like say it was opening at 8.
Right.
Less people are going to go to the Studios, at least initially, because they don't want to have to get up at 7, or 6:30. When you're opening at 10, you can still get up at 8:30, which is fine, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and still get over there for the most part. And plus, the other thing we noticed too with the boarding groups with Rise, and there's a lot of good attractions. I mean, the Studios has a lot going on all of a sudden. And so the thing is, when you're trying to get everybody there at 10 o'clock, it's a late opening. So many people are going to be drawn to that park. It's got all the thrill
Yep.
attractions, and people are trying to get their boarding pass as soon as they walk in the gates. It's a bottleneck. They should maybe push the boarding groups either out to 11 or 10:30 or something like that. Or I wish they would open the studios at 8. And then, you
Yep.
know, I mean, they could have 2 parks open at 8, you know, even if you got closed a little bit earlier,
Yep.
just because that would give the people who are again, I consider myself like a hustler, and I think most of us are. I would get
Yep.
there early to put myself in a good position for a boarding group, because I did it at 5:30, you know, back, I was at the park at 5:30 to get a boarding group, you know, and so I would definitely be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, but I think it would knock out, you know, probably 20% of the guests that didn't want to get up that early. So I wish the studios opened earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that. That's like what I'm thinking of, how if they can like vary it a bit more, because, because like if it's opening right at 10, like that's stressful. Like I mean, the when you were telling the story of how like the day you got there like 9:59, like I was getting stressed out just hearing that. I'd be like, I'd be like running like crazy just through.
It was one of those things, like it was a
but-
roller coaster, because like I was excited we're going to get it. Then I was like, oh, we're totally not getting it. When we were in line for the Skyliner the second time, I was like, we're done. We're going to try again at 2:00 this afternoon. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. Then like, as we're, getting on the Skyliner, it's like 9:51. I'm like, oh, it's a quick ride over. We get off. It's like 9:56. Then I'm like, I guess we're going to go for it. So it's basically a dead sprint to the touch points, 9:59:45. It was, that took 5 years off my life getting that boarding group. And then, the Rise was awesome, but the Millennium Falcon almost made me puke. So what are you going to do?
Wow, that was a good story though. But I'm glad. I'm glad. Not that I was puking, because actually, interesting. Like I get a bit like nauseous on those types of rides, but I actually felt better when I was the pilot. Now I was also the pilot that jumped to light speed. Like I had that power
You're
of doing that. I think you said like Mallory did that.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But it's like I was just so focused, because like when I was the engineer, I kind of felt like, because I was staring on the side, like I don't know, I guess I had the opposite experience where I was like, I don't know, I almost felt like I was kind of missing out on everything. It's like, oh my God, I'm just like so focused and I gotta get my job done. Otherwise the ship is.
That's how I felt. I was busy when I was the engineer, but when I was the pilot, I was looking at the screen the entire time. And the whole disappointment is I let Mallory have that spot to make the jump to light speed, because I was trying to be a good dad. And thanks to Scott and his family, they let us both be the pilots. We appreciated that. But the thing was, I think it was totally lost on her. She just grabbed the stick, pulled it back with, dude, you got to enjoy that moment. Like I still haven't done it.
I know.
Like you just got to go slow and like, oh, I'm Chewy. You were making the jump. Oh, whatever. She didn't.
You're sitting there thinking, you don't understand.
I know. Didn't even appreciate it. She just grabbed the thing, jammed it down like it's a Jeep, like putting it in second gear, and it was ridiculous. Or whatever. That's what you do for your kids.
Yeah. But yeah, so like hopefully like they maybe vary that a bit, because I think like the nighttime might be a little more difficult, but I think at least like varying it sometimes in the morning. Like, because it's kind of similar to like how it was pre-COVID, right? Like if you have parks that open, like ignoring extra magic hours, if you had a park that opened at 9 a.m., like there are people that just don't want to get there right at 9 a.m. Like just because they're doing breakfast or they're sleeping or whatever. But like then the first hour of the park is normally like you can get so much done. But if the park's opening at like 10 or 11, like it's a little harder, especially if they add more guests. In a few months, like it's harder to kind of have that, quote unquote, like golden hour of like getting as much done as possible. I would think anyway.
Yeah, it is one of those things. Man, I'm willing, and like Tanya said in the chat, she prefers early because the heat of the day openings are not appealing. That's exactly right. I mean, at 10 o'clock in August in Florida, I mean, the heat index could be 100 degrees when you're walking into the park. And so like at a 10 or 11 o'clock opening, you're just guaranteed to be in that park at 2 o'clock and it's smoking hot. I mean, It's just, I'm one of those people, we get up early, we go, we'll go to Extra Magic Hours AM. We love those. We'll be out of the park by noon and in a pool. And that's why I think I felt so hot. Not only the mask, but I felt hot just because we are never in the parks at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we were consistently because of the shorter park hours and late opening. So, I mean, obviously you got to do what you got to do, but it was just one of those things. It just got me out of my comfort zone. Which, good and bad. It's, I learned from it. We tried different things. We watched more live entertainment at Epcot and got in the shade and stuff like that. So it's fine. But I'd rather be in a pool.
See, I'm a crazy person. I just like power through the whole day, unless like if on Animal Kingdom days, like I like to go to like Sanaa or Chico, but normally like at Magic Kingdom, I'll just power through all day, get all that done. But so I'm, I guess, a little crazier than you in that way.
You are.
But I'm, excited. See you in January, race or
Yes.
no races, and but I am tempted. I mean, Scott's making a trip in October sounding really fun in the chat right now. He's trying to get me to have another trip booked. But so I'm excited for that. And as I guess a quick thing also, if anyone that's listening is really into Disney music, we really recommend the new Disney Plus documentary, Howard, about
I've heard
Howard
that.
Ashman.
Yep.
It's definitely sad at parts because, he definitely, he died young, sadly, but it's a great documentary if you're interested in Disney Renaissance era in particular.
I have to drag myself away from the Big Brother live feeds long enough to watch that. Cardinals started playing. I got the Big Brother live feeds, but I'll put that on the radar. Hey, Marlessa, congratulations on the PR. That's a big thing. And we'll see you in January, maybe in October. I'm trying to get down there too.
Yeah, Scott's trying to get everyone.
I know he is. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good week.
All right.
We'll talk to you Sunday.
Talk,
All right.
talk to you soon.
All right.
Night,
Bye-bye.
night. Bye.
All right. 407-413-9395. Next caller is in. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, this is Celia
Hey, Celia.
from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Chapel Hill, home of the Tar Heels, correct?
Yes, go Heels.
There you go.
We won't talk about the other school that's a couple miles down the road.
Well, I'm
But,
you know what? I got so many friends in South Carolina, and I'm okay with Clemson, but I'm not a big USC fan. So there you go. That's in your general
okay.
area. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a funny story. Today, my 3-year-old woke up from his nap, and he came in and was trying to, get me to get up and do some stuff with him. But he was like, I never got to go on the tree house with the cannonballs. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, no.
And he was like, at Disney World. I was like, oh my God. We were there in March and we had an ADR, not an ADR. We had a fast pass for Mine Train that I was like making us run for because we were about to lose it. My child was like, I want to go to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And he has not forgotten that.
Well, see, you got to sell that, though. You got to be like, I worked so hard to get us that Treehouse Fast Pass. You got to make sure that your child knows that is just one of the premier attractions on property. That old Mine Train. Who wants to ride that old Mine Train? That's old news.
So we watched the video, a live walkthrough on YouTube. And then he started crying because he wanted to be there right now. And I was like, crap, what did I do?
What you do is you get your kid like a costume and a Stairmaster, and their problem solved. The kid's got huge legs and like as happy as a clam. Yeah, totally.
So he still thinks Disney's closed because, we're not comfortable traveling right now, and we're actually not allowed to travel because of our jobs. So we work in healthcare, and actually today was a good day because my husband came home on time for the first time in forever, and he didn't have a COVID patient today. So that's kind of a big deal for us.
It is.
But I told him when we would go, I was looking into the one when we finally get to go. Have you ever or known anybody or had any clients stay in the tree houses at Saratoga Springs? I think that when we finally get to go there, maybe in the spring or something, we might be looking into one of those.
I have stayed in a tree house. I have.
You have?
Yes.
Okay,
way back in the day. You want to hear a super quick funny story about the tree house? Okay.
I do want to hear it.
Okay, so we started the podcast in 2008. I want to say this was 2010 or 11.
Oh man.
We decided to have a live event at Walt Disney World. Well, having anything at Disney is like super ridiculously expensive to like rent a space to get people together. But we wanted to do that. For the podcast. So Pam Forrester, the other, our co-host, she rented out the biggest tree houses they have. I think it was a 2 or 3 bedroom. It was the biggest tree house they have. So I stayed with her. And so it was just Pam, her husband, and Hannah, her daughter, and myself and Paige. And we had this big old tree
that
house.
Sounds like fun.
It was bigger than my house I was living in. I'm not kidding square footage wise. I think it was because we only had an 896 square foot house.
Yeah, they look enormous.
Oh, it was huge.
I was looking.
So anyway, Jay, I think still maybe in the live chat because he was there. we put this out. We're going to have a live podcast from the treehouse. Come on by. We're going to have refreshments. We have a cake.
Oh my God.
It was over like a race weekend for Tower of Terror, I think, or something. It was the beginning of Food and Wine. It was in the fall.
Okay.
85 people showed up for this thing. We thought like 5 would show up, 6. I don't know how Disney didn't shut us down. We had people on the deck. We had people like Jay was down making. Yeah, Jay was down making s'mores for everybody in the barbecue pit down on the ground. We had the whole living room was packed. Messiah was there from Japan. It was great. People were from all over. It was like the greatest day for the podcast ever. But how I didn't end up in Disney jail, I don't know. Now that has nothing to do with your question. Staying in the treehouse, it was awesome. It was like a house. It was so unique because it's like this big octagon. It's like a house on stilts, and you're out in the woods, which is awesome. You're right on the Sassagoula River. Now the drawbacks, real quick. The bus service there is bad because think about it.
Is it still bad? I've heard that. I was hoping it improved.
You're so far out there, and that bus has to snake down this little skinny road. I know for the bus drivers, they have to draw straws every morning, and like whoever gets a short straw has to do the tree houses that day because that would stink. But anyway, the buses are. I would have a car if you can, and also the only thing is they have a pool over there for the tree houses, but it's like a plain old rectangle. It's no fun. You would have to go. It's not
a feature pool type thing.
No. So if you want to swim, you'd want to go over to Saratoga and enjoy like Saratoga proper and enjoy one of their feature pools. But
how far is it from Saratoga proper? Like, were you able to get over there? Okay.
Well, we didn't. We never did swim that trip because we're only down there for like 3 nights. But I would say it's like 5 minutes, and there's an internal bus that'll take you over. It's not far, but I don't think you would really walk it. I don't think it's really walkable because they're really remote. They are in the woods, but they're so cool. They're so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So eventually, I'm hoping one day we'll be able to get out there and do that. Maybe 2021. Who knows?
I hope.
I'm about to I'm going to get I'm in the vaccine trial, so I'm going to get the vaccine soon. Hopefully it works out.
You'll be Superwoman.
We'll see.
Fingers
crossed on that one.
Oh my gosh. Please, can't we just all sprinkle something on our, hair or something, and we're all good to go and get back to playing football and going to traveling the world? Come on.
For now, we'll have to settle for YouTube videos. And I did pull up Swiss Family Robinson on Disney Plus, which has been like the biggest lifesaver of COVID for us with having a preschooler. I feel like I'm so thankful for Disney Plus.
Your preschooler is he or she is old school. I like it.
Yeah. He's into it. He loved the whole shipwreck part. He loved every minute of it, which scares me a little bit. We got a Daredevil. This is the 3-year-old that rode Tower of Terror when he was barely with shoes on, 40 inches tall. Like, wow. He had to stand up real straight to hit that little ledge. But, that's how boys are sometimes.
That's exactly. Well, you know what? It's kind of funny with kids. People that don't have kids probably don't realize this, but I think like kids go through that Daredevil age before they even know fear. Like they'll ride tower and it's crazy. But then when they hit 10 though, a lot of times when they hit like 9 or 10, they're
when
like,
he's
I'm
6
not
or
doing
7. Yeah. Well, I was like, I was scared for him. The pictures of us on Tower of Terror, me like looking at him in terror, like, why aren't you afraid? Like, I'm terrified. But anyway, that's a good family memory. We love Tower of Terror.
Well, hey, we sure appreciate you guys being in healthcare. Thanks for taking care of everybody. Tell your husband we said thank you for that too.
Stay healthy.
Absolutely. And we'll get you down there sooner rather than later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. Bye.
I love it. Swiss Family Treehouse. Who'd have thought? That's why I love this show. You never know what people like. 3-year-olds, Swiss Family Treehouse. You got steps and you have, rope netting and more steps and some leaves and branches. That's awesome. 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Give us a call. We got about 15 minutes left in the show. Wade mentioned in the chat, my buddy from up in Nebraska, he's looking forward to his trip with no fast passes and no ADR stress. And there is something 100% to be said for that. When we were down there, we didn't have to be looking at our phones like, oh my gosh, we have a fast pass at 7:20 tonight. We didn't. It's like one of those things that we rode things that we considered in the neighborhood. If we were in Tomorrowland, we would stick in Tomorrowland and ride all the rides because nothing had, really long lines or anything that would keep us from going in that queue. So, we go from Buzz to Space to Astro Orbiter to, then we might just, go do the Carousel of Progress, then go on to Fantasyland and do Mermaid or Seven Dwarves or Winnie the Pooh. It was very old school. You didn't have to keep crisscrossing because, sorry, Wade. Let me reboot Skype. It didn't pick up for some reason. Give me a call here in about 2 minutes. But the thing was, like, you weren't going for a Haunted Mansion Fast Pass in Liberty Square. And then, oh my gosh, let's go over to Pirates. And now let's go over to Space. Because I'm telling you, man, that adds up. It's great when you have all the Fast Passes, but it was nice not having them. I loved it. Hey, Wade, thanks for calling in. How you doing, buddy? Good talking to you.
Hey, good, Mike. It's good to get in and good to be able to chat again. I swear I'm trying to win free concert tickets when I try to get in.
Every time you would call, I'd be picking up the other line right in front of yours. Like I'd click it and then it was Wade. So it was, what can you do? So hey, big shout out, 23 half marathons, man. Proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. 23. It certainly isn't back to back like you did this weekend. But like I said, I need a medal and a snack box if I'm going to do back-to-back half marathon.
We're just all crazy.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, my last week though, I ran it at over 8,000 feet altitude. And that was the killer.
Dude,
one was it literally. Oof.
Oh, I know, because when I was in, in the mid '90s, the Olympics toyed with adding the sport of inline speed skating. Okay, because remember, rollerblading was like huge in the '90s, and so they were going to make inline speed skating possibly an Olympic sport. So they had these what were called Olympic festivals around the country for like qualifying for the Olympics. And so I skated an event out in Aurora, Colorado, and I thought I was all hot stuff because I was all trained up. I was having a good season. I got out to Aurora and got my butt kicked by those guys that were from that trained in altitude. I couldn't breathe. It was like, 200 meters into the race, it was like, call me a paramedic. The altitude is no joke.
Oh, it zaps him. You're a mile high there, of course, 5,280 feet.
Yeah.
But
and
it does. It zaps you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about 8,100 feet, and it just that last 3 miles literally was like the last 3 miles of a full, where it's like everything, bam, like a wall. It was just like my legs got heavy, you're breathing, everything. It was crazy, but it was fun. I did it. I kept the streak alive.
I don't really want to feel mile 23 of a marathon unless, like you said, there's a box of food at the end of the medal. I don't want to feel that.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking when I was running it too. I'm like, I get nothing at this but a Gatorade.
Exactly. No, but seriously, on your point though, you made in the chat, you made a great point. Like, this is a time in history where hopefully this won't last forever, and not having fast passes, not worrying about where you're going to eat so much. It's very mentally freeing. Like you're not taxed by what do I have next? Like we typically are on trips the last 5-10 years.
That's what I thought about. As I ran yesterday, I was listening to, I guess your Friday show, and I think a question show where you talked a lot about your trip and, meeting up with Scott, who's been there for like 12 months.
Oh my gosh.
And how, you're able to do things and kind of, decide what you want to do. And I thought about that because even with now making the park day reservations, that first day was stressful, but it's turned out to, as long as you have, a hotel or resort reservation, you can pretty much get about any date. I'm talking about October, November when I'm going. I was going the first week in November for Wine and Dine. That got canceled. Cried, got my money back, or not yet, but requested a refund and decided to move it up a week, go the last week in October instead. There's plenty of DVC availability, which is usually never the case. There's plenty of park pass availability. And the only thing you have to worry about now is fast passes, which I'm a little bit like freeing, because those days would be, make sure you're up at 6 a.m., I think, Central Time. And you're like on there going, okay, wait a minute. The last day is Magic Kingdom. Oh, Mine Train. Oh, wait, Space Mountain, and all that stress. And then I'd lay back down in bed and go, oh man, that sucked. Now I can't go back to sleep anyway. And then ADRs, now I'm kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like eating outside because it's safer and what have you. And not that I wouldn't eat it at a restaurant there where they have tables spaced out, but I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to go the last week in October. You guys kind of convinced me to go ahead and do it, and because you can do it safely, and I'm a little bit have that freeing mindset of, yeah, let's go. Let's just figure out what we're going to eat. You know, we're going to be at Boulder Ridge. I love Geyser Point. We'll eat there. We'll go to the parks. We'll eat, you know, outside at Epcot, whatever. It'll be great. I really have, even though I wish things were normal and not crowds, but, you know, wish things were normal and we could not have to wear a mask and do the whole thing. But I'm kind of like, let's give this a shot.
That's the attitude. When you have that attitude, though, really you're setting yourself up for a win, for a positive trip. And like you said, I mean, seize the opportunity. Bold, you know, when you're at Boulder Ridge, you're going to have Geyser Point. You're also going to have Whispering Canyon. You're going to have Roaring Forks open too. I mean, you have a lot of options at Wilderness Lodge. We went to Geyser Point, and I'll tell you what, in October, like if you're going that last week of October, the weather is usually spectacular. And I think you nailed it. I mean, not only is it, I mean, it is safer probably to eat outside. I felt fine eating inside, but I mean, obviously, if you can't, I like eating outside whenever I get the opportunity. Geyser Point is just gorgeous, and they have good food, good drinks, and just a great atmosphere. Perfect for this kind of situation. You know, I would do the same. You know, take advantage of that and just roll with the good thing is you get to just roll with the day. You know where you're going that morning, but you don't know like what the first ride's going to be. Like we didn't have to decide that till we got on the bus. You know, and we just went from place to place. What do you want to ride next? Okay, let's go. You know, and it is so great because I'm always like tied to, well, you know, we want to be in Adventureland around 11 o'clock because we have an 11:15 fast pass for Pirates, you know, and we didn't have to worry about any of that. It was nice.
Yeah, exactly. I even think, and I just got up a work call right before the show started, and it was an education event with a big salon out in Fort Collins, Colorado. They got 90 stylists, and normally we do these all in person. You know, we're cutting hair, coloring hair, all that, but we did it by Zoom. And my message to them as we close the day was, you know what? Sometimes you get thrown lemons. So what do? You make lemonade. You know, you roll with the punches. And I even think with the parks closing earlier, I love being in a Disney park at night because I think the lights and everything, you know, it's a different atmosphere. But I told my wife, I said, hey, here's the thing. They're going to close at 5 or 6 in October. Okay, now you're not going to have FOMO when you leave the park and go back to your resort and, you know, go have a margarita at Whispering Canyon or at Geyser Point. You won't be thinking, geez, I could sneak back to the Magic Kingdom for fireworks tonight, and then they're open till 1 a.m. No FOMO of missing a park.
That's true. That's true. And that totally is. But it is weird, though. I will say, like, when you leave the Animal Kingdom at 6, or say it's your Animal Kingdom day, and you leave and the park closes at 6, like, you have just closed the door on your theme park day, it is like that day I was like, this is weird. Like I cannot go to a theme park right now if I wanted to. Not that they were open that much longer, but it's just like I've always had that option to go back at, you know, and see the park just to go in a park and grab something to eat. You know, it is weird, but I mean, it's fine. Sure. It's temporary.
Yeah, we did that all the time. Like I think you said, even, you know, you leave during the day or you go back to have an Epcot, you know, ADR, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. That will be strange. But again, I will tell myself, hey, nothing I can do about it. So let's go back and go for a swim. I know they close the pools at 9 or something like that, but you know, make the best of it. So
you're staying at Boulder Ridge, right? You said.
Yeah, Boulder Ridge. You got a split stay right now. 5 days Boulder Ridge, 2 at Boardwalk.
Okay, so let me just tell you, the quiet pool stays open till 11 at Boulder Ridge. Now, I'll tell you how it went down. So, the feature pool over at Wilderness Lodge closes at 9, right? The one in the middle of the main lodge. Okay. That's the fun one.
Yep.
We were swimming with Scott's family over at the quiet pool, which is it's a gigantic pool, 0 entry, you know, and all that stuff. As soon as the big pool, the feature pool closed, all the teenagers came over to the quiet pool. There were cannonballs, there were footballs being fired. Scott intercepted some kids' football. I thought he was going to get, you know, like I told him to take it back to the house on him, but he didn't. But it was one of those things like all of a sudden that after 9 o'clock, that becomes the feature pool. So I'm just telling you, it was a good time. We had a blast.
Gotcha. Well, good to know.
Got to 11.
Very cool. Well, I got the airfare. I mean, I've got it all set. So, yeah, there's even direct flights from Omaha and Southwest. I don't have to stop by St. Louis, which I normally have to do. So,
there you go.
I'm going to roll with it and see how it goes, but look forward to it.
We'll have a good time. And, we'll talk before then, definitely. But more importantly, as we're recording tonight, big games tomorrow, doubleheader with the Cubs.
a 7-inning doubleheader.
Yes.
It's like the old,
It's like Corey League.
the old high school
Exactly,
doubleheader or whatever,
exactly.
So
Exactly. I'm
I'm glad the Cardinals are back. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The Sox
it'll
took
be
care of
fun.
us today. All right, Wade. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. It's good talking to you, man. We'll have to talk next Sunday night. I appreciate it.
You too. All right. Thanks,
Take
Mike.
care,
Take
buddy.
care now.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, 407-413-9395. Actually, we have one last call for the night because we're at the top of the hour, but let's get this one in. They've been trying hard. Hey, who's joining us? Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Hey, this is Keith B from Ann Arbor.
Hey.
You don't know me. I'm a first-time caller, but a long-time listener. You actually know my brother, though. One Carrie B from PA. I think he's a lizard.
Yes, he is. Yes, he got me my margarita after my dopey challenge this year. He helped me get down there and get refreshed after my big 26-mile run.
Wow, I mean that's more than he's done for me lately. That's awesome.
That's life-saving at that point.
Hopefully he's listening. So, hey, like I said, we haven't called in before, but I wanted to catch up with you on a few things. I know that you were just down there. My daughter Haley actually has a question for you.
Sure.
Regarding some changes that you may have seen, maybe in the room there.
Okay.
So I don't know how much time you spend like watching TV in your room, but we were just wondering what you thought about them not playing Must Do Disney.
That is so weird. I understand why they're not doing it, because Stacy on there gets us all hyped up to use our fast passes and to do a lot of the things that are closed. So folks like us, we know what we're getting into. We just like seeing Stacy. We like seeing the rides. We like seeing the restaurants. But for somebody that's going for the first time, that show would be super confusing, because they'd say, well, what about these fast passes? Where do I get them? And they're not being used. So I understand why they pulled it, but it's different. I can tell you that much, not having it there, because she's kind of like the, welcome to your vacation kind of person right there in the room. So it's weird, but I get it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is coming from somebody who knows that script inside and out and
Exactly.
rehearses it all the time.
Yeah.
There
doesn't seem to be any track. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Last night, it was a beautiful night out. We ended up, one thing that we do to kind of keep in touch with Disney while we haven't been there, we actually had a trip in March when all this shook down, tried to reschedule it for August, decided not to go. We're really concerned with just not having the same experience that we had when we've gone down there all the time. Not a lot of people. Sounds like there's some good advantages to going though during this time, right? Like you mentioned, jumping on rides, having the park to yourself, but just not sure if that's something that we wanted to jump back into. But actually, so last night we dial up Illuminations and watch that by the campfire. And I wanted to run this. I think Len Testa has the same theory, and I agree. I want to bring this up to you. I'm pretty sure that all this bad stuff started happening when they pulled Illuminations. Do you agree or do you not?
100%. I was there the night of the last. I went down just so I could see the last Illuminations. I'm the biggest Illuminations fan in the world, and I said, at the time, I was like, this is one of the best things ever on the planet. And I know a lot of people didn't like Illuminations as much as I did, but it was the perfect show for the perfect venue of World Showcase. It was all about the world coming together, the history of communication, all of us rallying as humanity. And then you're right. As soon as they pulled it, we got Epcot Forever and the world fell apart. So, I mean, yeah, there's a correlation.
Yeah.
Definitely. If we bring it back, I know they said they dismantled the Earth Globe or whatever. Somebody needs to go get some super glue, find all the pieces, put that sucker back together. Let's bring Illuminations back, and all of a sudden everything will be back to normal. Maybe it's worth a shot at this point.
Yeah, let's get a petition going. We can do this. I think we can make the world right again if we do this, Mike. Let's do it.
At least we need a T-shirt or something, or hey, we need a change.org petition. We need to put it there.
Exactly. Well, hey, I commend you for going down to Disney, but I wanted to loop you in on something that we did. So, like I mentioned, we were really struggling with the fact that, did we want to go down? Did we want to experience it the way it was? actually what we ended up doing, thanks to some pretty cheap flights on Spirit, is we actually did a national parks trip.
Oh, nice.
So the reason, selfishly, why I did this was to convince my family that when we go back down to Disney, that Wilderness Lodge is the only place to stay.
Nice.
And this actually reinforced it. And it was so funny because we found ourselves, so we did the Rocky Mountain National Park, and we actually drove up to Yellowstone and did the Tetons as well. But it's amazing, like when you take these trips, how many similarities you find with your Disney vacations. I mean, we honestly found a geyser in Yellowstone that was a hidden Mickey. We were pretty much convinced it was a hidden Mickey. The cast members have name tags that say where they're from. It's like we were going out there and we're like, just everything that we were doing and seeing, we were drawing parallels. You know, you go down there and you hit the parks and you're walking 10 miles a day.
Yeah.
We were doing
That's
hikes,
true.
walking around. It was pretty cool. And then actually to see Artist Point, where I'm pretty sure the restaurant is named after that view from Yellowstone, was just gorgeous. So there's so many parallels to Disney. I highly recommend, if you're on the fence about using your vacation money and going to Disney, check out the national parks. It was a great trip.
That is so interesting because, okay, I've been to years ago, like right out of college, we drove to Yosemite. So we drove all the way down through Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. We stopped in Vegas for a couple nights, and then we went to Yosemite and hiked Half Dome and came back. The other year we went up to West Yellowstone, Montana. So we drove out through Rocky Mountain National Park, Grand Tetons, Yellowstone. Those places were almost life-changing. I didn't realize how gorgeous the United States is till I saw those two more than two, but those two main ones, Yosemite and Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've never taken my daughters or my wife. They've never been to any of these. And I'm almost worried because, and this is a good thing to ask you, because we've always gone to Disney and our Disney trips are so like, go, 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 you know, we're always doing stuff. And like, I'm scared if I take them out to Yellowstone and you drive around, you know, the park's hundreds of miles wide, you know, so if you're going from one side of the park, it's like going across the state of Missouri, you know, like from St. Louis to Kansas City.
Yep.
And like, what are you seeing? You're seeing and the buffalo that you see are amazing. The moose, you see a bear every once in a while. I mean, I was in love, but I just wonder, like, since I've spoiled them on, you know, World Showcase where you can go from country to country in 5 minutes and have this whole different fun thing to do. Are they going to tolerate riding in a car 100 miles to get to the next thing? And it's going to be just a different kind of a moose, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to do it, but I'm scared they'll be underwhelmed, which I wouldn't be. I want to go back bad.
Oh, it's just, it's gorgeous. I highly recommend it. But hey, so then just following up on your trip. So similar to what I mentioned, like how we felt, you know, obviously like everybody, right? We've all gone down. We're used to a certain flow and how the parks feel when there's other people there. So when you went down, how did it feel for you? I mean, obviously it had to be kind of a little bit surreal, but did it change anything for you? I know I've been listening to some of your podcasts and it sounds like it's been a great time, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we had a great time because, for one, I had been cooped up in the house for about 5 months. I had really not gone anywhere because my older daughter, who's 23, she does Instacart, she does DoorDash, she did all the shopping. I mean, I work from home anyway, so I had no reason to leave. So this was my first excursion out, except for going like to the eye doctor and a couple of, you know, driving through Taco Bell and stuff like that. So I got to be out of the house and having fun for 5 days. So I loved it in that case. I love that I got to spend time with my youngest daughter. We'd never gone anywhere by ourselves. But you're right. Going into the Magic Kingdom, while it was awesome that nobody was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a dream, there was not the same energy that people provide. You know, there's just something about a busy Main Street is kind of part of the experience. And an abandoned Main Street, as great as it is to not have to fight anybody and, you know, to walk up to Space Mountain, there's something to be said for like just the whole experience of like for example, at Pop Century, we walked past the feature pool that one night and there were like 8 or 9 kids in the feature pool where, you know, if you walk past it in the summer on a typical summer night, you would have maybe a couple hundred people in that pool, and you would have people like laughing and beach balls flying. It didn't have the energy. I mean, it was almost like you had like private parties, which are fun, but they don't have the same feel. So again, tons of positives and negatives. I mean, I'm glad I got to experience it, but you know, I do miss the energy of that people bring, especially Disney fans.
Were you able to do Splash Mountain?
Yes, we definitely did that a couple times. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, a little disappointed that's going away, but totally get it. What else? There's one other thing I had for you. Shoot. Now I don't remember what it was. I think it was somewhere along the lines of like the evening time, you know, with the parks closing so early. And you mentioned it on another podcast where the parks have so much to offer at night. It would be a little frustrating to kind of have to get out of there so early. And then, you know, with things being shut down, how do you spend the evening time?
Yeah, the one night we rode the Skyliner, you know, the night that we got out of the Magic Kingdom closed at 7. And what we did 2 nights is we made the very last ADR for a restaurant in the park. So Liberty Tree Tavern, we had a 6:45 ADR. That meant we didn't leave the park till like 8. We were the last ones out of the Magic Kingdom. The next night we did the same for 50s Prime Time at the studios. We're the last ones out of the studio. So that ate up some of the night. We got some great pictures with nobody in the park. But the one night we got on the monorail and just went around to the Polynesian. We went past the Grand Floridian, and, you know, we hung out at the, Scott was staying over at Wilderness Lodge. So we went over there and hung out with them at their villa. So it's one of those things that you got to find stuff to do, but it is weird because, I mean, at 9 o'clock, I mean, the last thing open is Disney Springs, and it closes at 10. That usually closes at 2 a.m. So you're right. I mean, the thing is you're refreshed because you're not killing yourself, you know, staying out till midnight. It's kind of nice, but you do find yourself like, oh my God, I'm back at the hotel at 8:30. What am I going to do? You know, there's not a lot to do. So yeah, you got to think about that.
Awesome. Hey, great catching up with you. I got to run. I got to give my brother a call and see why he's never offered to buy me a drink.
He owes you a drink. That's exactly right. Well, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, will do. Keep up the good work. Good talking to you. And hopefully we'll see you down in the parks one day.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you.
All right, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, bye. All right, 407, or that's it. We don't have to get the phone number again because we are a little bit over time, but no problem. We love talking Disney here. Hey, thanks everybody who joined us tonight. We'll be back again next Sunday night. We're going to do the same time, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, right here on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget, support the show 3 ways. Book your next trip with the great folks over at the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Use our Amazon affiliate link anytime you do that online shopping. Go white over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Oh no, it's go green, go white. I think for Michigan State, as they're saying in the chat. And then of course, big blue for Michigan. So we already have a Michigan State happening in the chat. What can we do? And finally, become a patron of the show for extra content. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Be Our Guest Mike, and Facebook and YouTube. Just search Be Our Guest Podcast and hit that subscribe button. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your Sunday night. Or if you're checking us out on the feed, happy Thursday. For everybody who called tonight, thanks for being a part of the show. I'm Mike, wishing you a great evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Let me save this real quick. Live show August. What's today? 2020. We have all the Michigan State people in the house. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll do this again next Sunday. I like the earlier hour because Big Brother's on. I will see you guys later. Hope you enjoy tomorrow.